Before the Red Sea ever parted, before the plagues ever came, before Pharaoh ever trembled, God asked one question. What is that in your hand? Exodus 4:2. Moses didn't ask for a miracle. He didn't come with a weapon. He didn't hold a sword. He didn't come with a scroll or a crown. He held a stick, a shepherd's staff, ordinary, maybe forgotten, just like the man who carried it. But what God calls ordinary, He never leaves that way. Exodus 4:2. And the Lord said unto him, What is that in thine hand? And he said, A rod. That staff represented more than wood and history. It was Moses' past, his exile, his survival, his calling. And here's the divine principle. God didn't give Moses a new tool. He transformed what Moses already carried. What if what you've been asking God for has been in your possession this whole time? He's not asking you to bring something you don't have. He's asking you to recognize what you've been holding and trust Him enough to let it go when the time comes. Because what you lay down in obedience, God will raise up in authority. And your hand might be holding a gift or a grudge, a calling or a comfort zone. But the question remains, what is that in your hand? Next time, we throw it down. And when it hits the ground, it won't come back the same. Subscribe and come back ready to be uncomfortable. It was just a stick until he let it go. And then it became the thing he feared most. We love the miracles. We preach the signs. But no one ever talks about the moment Moses ran. Exodus 4:3. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. This wasn't just transformation, it was confrontation. In that moment, the staff became a serpent. And in that moment, God began to tell a deeper story. A serpent, the symbol of the curse, the deception in Eden, the judgment in the wilderness. John 3:14. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Jesus didn't come to bear our sin as much as He came to become our sin. 2 Corinthians 5:21. He hath made Him to be sin for us who knew no sin. He became the thing we fear, the thing we hide from, the thing we're ashamed to name. Moses threw down a staff, but he saw a serpent. God sent His Son into the world, and the world saw sin. That's the mystery. The spotless became sin, so He could break the curse from the inside out. Some of us are afraid to lay it down because deep down we know what it might become. But what if the thing you fear is the exact place where God wants to show you His power? Next time, God says, pick it up by the tail. And resurrection doesn't look like safety. It looks like obedience. Subscribe and come back ready to be uncomfortable. Would you dare pick up the very thing that once scared you? Would you reach into the danger because God said do it anyway? Exodus 4:4. Put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. God told Moses to do something no shepherd would ever do. Grab a live serpent by the tail. Because resurrection doesn't feel safe. It feels risky. It looks like surrender. But it is where power begins. Jesus didn't stay in the ground. He didn't remain what he became. He laid it down, but he picked it back up. John 10:18. No man taketh it from me. I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. When Moses picked up the serpent, it became a staff again. But it never went back to just being a stick. Exodus 4:20. The rod of God. Jesus became sin, but sin didn't define him. He came out of the grave with power, with keys, with fire. Hebrews 1:3. He sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high. You see, Jesus is now seated at the right hand of power. God will not ask you to pick back up what scared you, what shamed you, what broke you. But this time, you're not picking it up in fear. You're picking it up in obedience and in authority. Because resurrection doesn't return things to normal. It returns them to power. Next time, the pattern becomes personal. You're not just watching the staff rise. You're about to lay your own life down and pick it back up. Subscribe and come back ready to be uncomfortable. You want to walk in power, but are you willing to surrender what's in your hand? 3, 2, 1. We celebrate Moses, we exalt Christ, but we hesitate to follow. Matthew 16:25. Whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. Because laying it down doesn't just mean sin, it means control. It means fear. It means you. Jesus didn't call us to admire the pattern. He called us to live the pattern. He laid down his life, picked it back up, and now calls you to do the same. Luke 9:23. Take up your cross and follow me. Romans 6:4 and Colossians 2:12. Buried with him in baptism, risen with him in glory. Your past, lay it down. Your pain, lay it down. Your shame, lay it down. Because when you do, he'll hand it back to you, and it won't just be yours anymore, it will be his. You've been carrying something for years, but it's never changed because you've never surrendered it. Lay it down, pick it up, but don't pick it up the same. Let God put resurrection in your hand. This is more than a story. It's more than a sermon. It's the pattern of every believer. A serpent, a staff, a son.